the Meo.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk with Meo, the Youth Messenger. Today I have two very important guests. One, Mr. Kenny Robinson, and his beautiful daughter, Kenya. Say hi.
Hi, everybody. Say hey. Kenna.
Kenna, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Her name's Kenna.
Kenna.
Kenna. So, you want to tell us a little bit about what you do first?
Yes, I am the founder of Freedom Fight Missionaries, which is a nonprofit that we founded to assist the formerly incarcerated, with an emphasis on those who have a background along with a disability. And our goal is to assist our brothers and sisters moving forward after they are released from jail and from prison. It is quite the battle for us. So we need all the assistance that we can get, and that is why I have dedicated all of my time and energy to that cause.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard that she's a part of it with you, right?
That's right. When we started, she's with me a lot. So she hears me on the phone a lot, and she goes with me a lot. And she's 7 years old, so between the ages of 6 and almost 8, she had picked up a lot of information, and then have an understanding for the struggles that we are in, and that those people need a second chance. We all need a second chance, right, Kenna?
Yes.
Right.
So, Miss Kenna, tell us what you do with your dad.
Tell me, what do you do at Freedom Fight Missionaries?
I help people and I help them get out of jail, and then I get them. We build houses and we make gardens for them, and then we just
What they gonna need?
they're gonna need food, water, and shelter,
Right.
and we
Then they're gonna have to go to work.
and they're gonna have to go to work, and then they'll help other people just like we help them.
That's right.
Amazing.
Thank you.
So do you like helping your dad a lot? You like being in the community and helping people get out of
And then
jail?
something special happened for us because we got a lot of dollars.
Amazing. And I heard that you're a dancer too, am I right?
Yes, I used to be in dance class.
And do you make
Yeah.
TikTok videos now? Okay, so what is your TikTok name?
Princess Kenna 8.
All right, and that's where they can find you on TikTok? All right.
Amazing.
Good.
So we're gonna jump into the questions, Mr.
Yeah.
Kenny. So why does the criminal justice system is so brutal? Why is it terrible these days?
Well, the way that the system has currently been designed for the last 30 years, it has been designed with the structure of law and order, right? And the over-policing of our communities have led to a mass incarceration of our people. Right? Now, upon that mass incarceration, the majority of those that's incarcerated and have been incarcerated have a release date, which means that eventually they're going to get out, right? So, for me, when those individuals get out, there's nothing for them, hard as it is in the system on the inside, overcrowded, overpopulated, no resources available there. That is what makes it brutal. Just like slavery. See, slavery is a brutal form of holding somebody bound and captive, right? Forcing them to work for free, right? But equally brutal to that is the release of the slave and give him nothing, right? Set him free, right? But give him no resources, no way to take care of himself, no way to survive, and no way to take care of his family. Is as equally brutal as the criminal justice system. And that is why we are crying out in the way that we're crying out, right? Because you locked me up for 10, 15 years, admitted that it was wrong to do so, and then continuously release us with nothing. So that's what makes it brutal.
And what is the meaning of brutal to you?
Punishment beyond reason. So unreasonable punishment, because punishment in itself can be harsh, but to continuously beat a broken bone into shatter is brutal.
So do you see any change happening?
Slight. And from where we're coming from, and I'm careful to always remind those that work with me and everybody who volunteers with us, right? Because we have had nothing, which is zero, right? That anything that we get is a win and is forward progress. So we have seen some progress. It have not come without loss of life, right? Because in order for us to get something for our community, right, somebody has to lose their life, right? So a lot of the changes that are in place now and are moving forward is simply because of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and those who have lost their life, right, in such a brutal way, right, that it touched the hearts of the people who have oppressed us, right? They've never been oppressed in such a way, but they've never seen a man suffocated under the knee of another man, live on Memorial Day.
So has the racial discrimination system either increased or has it decreased since everything has happened with the police?
It continues to increase because you have one side who feel a certain way about these same things, and then you have another side who feels opposite about what we all can see clearly with our own eyes. So, no, it is not going in reverse. It is actually going forward.
So what do you think we need to do to try to decrease some of the racial hate that we get a lot?
Well, it starts with community support because we have tried everything else and we have not been able to come to no type of resolve with the current ways that things have been done. So it is now up to you and I and all of us within the community to begin to mend these racial wounds that have been set over the course of 300, 400, 500 years.
Yeah.
So we have some work ahead of us in that field.
And do you think we as a community should try to come together to solve some of the solutions that is going on and to try to decrease some of the violence and things?
We doing it now, right? And our work, the work that we do, it goes unnoticed, right? Because it's not news until one of us is dead, right? And it's not news until one of us is murdered in a brutal way, right? But just like a young man that I'm working with, he's 25 years old, he was shot 13 times. And sadly, in his words, that I didn't die, right? Because now my mama, she got to try to take care of me, and she's on Section 8, and I can't go there and stay with her because of that. And it would have been better off, Mr. Kenny, had I died, he said. But he didn't. He shot 13 times, and now he's disabled. So what do we do from there for him and for his mother? Right? Yes. There's no system in place, no program in place to assist him. So what do we have? We have each other. And that is how they reached out to me, and that is how I reached out to Rodney and others to assist me with that. And that is what we do.
So what do we do for the families that has lost a child or, a family member to gun violence in this community, but they are not getting any support from any organizations, or they're only out there the first day that the child has gone and the next day don't hear from them again?
Well, we have to continue to advocate, and then you have to understand that the people that we're talking about in the communities that we're talking about, right, the mother of the slain child, right, comes from nothing. And her grandmother comes from nothing. And all of us come from nothing, right? So that 1 and 2 days, right, we want life for it to be 100 or 200 days. But I got to get back to work. I got 3 other children, right? And I took the bus here and all of that.
So what are some challenges people face when they get released from prison?
Well, number one, the very most basic things, just like Kenna said, and she is a child. Right? So the very most basic things, food, water, shelter, you need identification. All of these things before you even think about going to a job. Right? Because at Kenna's age, and then also at your age, right? When you go to school, do you know what it's like to be hungry in school while you sitting there trying to learn? It's like lunchtime, wish you would hurry up and come, right? Because I'm hungry. I can't even think about what they're talking about because I'm looking. And I know lunch is at 12 o'clock, right? So that is what we're dealing with. You know, how can you learn? How can you take these programs, right, and study, and you're hungry, right? And you're gonna be hungry when you leave this program. So the very most basic things are what we need when we release, and the very most basic things are not provided to us upon release at all.
So how long does it usually take for you guys to help them find job and housing?
Well, it's a difference. This is the case by case. Right? So it depends on the individual, right? Because, well, if you have somewhere to stay, right, you can stay with your mother. That's one thing. Now we can focus on the job. But if you actually have nowhere to stay, right? Number one, we can't do nothing until we get you somewhere to stay.
Yes.
Somewhere to stay for somebody coming out of jail that doesn't have any family or any support is the hotel. And that hotel stay is not provided by no government program that, because they don't exist, it is provided by community support. That's it. And then from there, we got, work on our hands.
Do you feel like that the community, city councilmen and women are doing anything to help with the justice system, like once they get out of prison, or like they just like let it go as it never happened?
No, there are other issues, right, that are just far more important to our local, our city councilmen and some of the representatives who are elected officials, right? And some of that, things that are more important to them are the creation of bike lanes and the creation of these greenways and these things. So there are issues and different things and stuff on the table that the city officials, the county officials, that they have on their agenda. And those things is just simply more important than the things that we're talking about.
Yes. So what is your organization doing to help people be released? Like, give us more details about that.
We obtain the people that we work with from many different ways. Number one, probation officers, word of mouth, on our website. And to begin with, it's again a case-by-case situation because it's a difference if somebody getting out of jail for 6 months versus somebody getting out of prison for 6 years or 16 years. So it is case-by-case based off of lived experience, which does not exist in any other current reentry program. So because I have been right where that person is at, I understand that feeling based off of where the circumstances of that particular individual. And we will begin there, case by case, individual by individual. And again, it could be something as simple, first of all, as getting identification. Right? Which you would, for the normal person, is just as simple as taking your documents, going down to the DMV and getting it or doing it online. But for somebody who have been incarcerated, it's much more difficult than that because they don't have the documents. The birth certificate, the social security card, an address, the things that you need. So, starting with us can be the very most basic things that we don't think about because we are not getting out of jail after 10 years. And from there, it's just step by step. And most people who haven't been through that, well, the first step that they want to get to is job, but you can't get there until you have some of these more basic needs taken care of. So again, it's certain steps. None of this works without community support because there's other organizations, right, that I have to work with that they specialize in employment, they specialize in healthcare, and they specialize in other areas that I have to make that connection to. We work together to help the person move forward. And again, this is all community support because you just simply want to help.
So do you think there's a lot of racial hate inside of the justice system?
There's not no question about it, and it's not a thought, it's just a reality, right? And that is based off of the simple mathematics. There was an election, a president was chosen, 75 million people voted for another person that did not win, right? And those 75 million people have a view versus the view of the 78 million people who voted for the other person, right? And there we are, there's that divide.
So what do you think we need to do to try to bridge the gaps between like all the hate that us colored people get?
Well, we could, well, the only thing that we can do is continue to advocate and use our voice, right?
Yes.
And continue to unite with one another in order to move forward. Other than that, that's the only thing that I believe works, because that's what I have used and that's what I have seen work.
So, as a black man, how do you feel about law enforcement while they're out here killing each other or killing us?
Well, I mean, somebody like me who have had that experience long before technology was where it is now, because there wasn't always a cell phone that had video capabilities on it, but there was always police officers killing black people for nothing, right? And there was always white people in the Ku Klux Klan killing black people for nothing, right? It just wasn't captured live, right? And until it's captured live, right, that's how you see it, right? Otherwise, these things have happened, and sometimes they make the news, but you don't see the news, you see your timeline. So that is the difference, and that is it. They've been killing us way more than now, right? But you didn't know about it, and they didn't know about it because it was easy to say, well, they had a knife, they had a gun. Sometimes they would put the actual gun there to say, see, that's the gun that they had, and that's why we killed them.
So, I know with your baby girl and with everything going on, how do you feel like when you're seeing people are killing kids these days, like for no reason?
Well, again, that is something that we have to continue to advocate for.
Yes.
Right, because these things is not going to stop overnight. They just not. We have to continue to push with one another, using our voice, because that's the biggest weapon that we have, unity and our voice for the power of change.
Yes.
And we're hopeful that this change can be enacted for the safety of our children who are here and the ones who've yet to be born.
Yep. So, how did you feel when you seen the victim come and that George Floyd's killer was, getting victims?
Well, vilified, because I'm old enough to remember what the Rodney King trial, which was the first time something like that was televised in a way that everybody can see it, including all black people.
Yeah.
And we know what the outcome of that, along with many other cases since then. That was in 1992.
Yes.
So many other cases since then involving officers who assaulted us, who murdered us, that didn't even get arrested. Those who did get some charges filed went to trial, and the charges was dismissed.
Where does the community come in to step in to help more with the law enforcement and the injustice systems?
Continue to do what we're doing now, which is use our voice, share on our networks, and let our voices be heard. However you feel, right? Because we need all views so we can have a real conversation. Because if all of us in the room feel a certain kind of way, then we don't have nothing to talk about.
Yes.
So we need to hear from all sides in the community. Our voices, put it out there, so then we can begin to come up with some strategies that we can use in order to put the people in these same positions that you're talking about, that we need, the city councilmen and county commissioners on the local level. Start right there.
So what do we do if they don't want to listen to us, though?
Well, they can be easily replaced.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And that's how I feel. My fight is not, I am sick and tired of fighting with government agencies trying to get them to do anything to assist us. So much so that I have exhausted my effort in that area. And I have moved on to seeking assistance elsewhere. Assistance that is more immediate, because I don't have time for their applications and their processes and their,
Yes.
stories, which some of them mean well. But for every one that means well, you have 3 who oppose that. And I just don't have no more energy to spend in that area.
So how can the community do to support your organization?
Continue to do what's being done now, like and share our work, which is more important than even the donations that come in. Right? We need it shared on all platforms so people can be aware of exactly what's happening in our communities.
So that's all the time we have for today. Thank you, Mr. K, for coming on. Tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
But you can find me on social media at Freedom Fighting Missionaries. That is on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And our website is www.freedomfightingmissionaries.org.
Amazing. I will link all of that down below. So guys, if y'all want to help him with him and his organization, feel free to contact him. And if anybody haven't told you yet today, I love you guys. You're amazing. Stay true to yourself and always be unique. Bye.
Bye.